So, folks, we now live in the golden age of not just progressive politics, but socialist politics. You see, Zohran Mamdani endorsed a number of different candidates in the primaries against centrist incumbents. And, well, let's quick refresh your memory here.
New York, we know anything's possible with a great team.
I'm Brad Lander, and I'll block billionaires from buying our elections.
I'm Maria Elisa Avila Chevalier, and I'll defend New York by abolishing ICE.
I'm Claire Valdez, and I'll stand up against bad landlords and greedy corporations.
Get out and vote. This is the team. This is our year.
I'm Brad Lander.
I'm Claire Valdez.
I'm Maria Elisa Avila Chevalier, and we approve this message.
All three of those candidates won today. All three of them won. All three DSA approved. And these are relatively safe blue districts, right? These are safe blue districts. And we are getting, very likely, 3 new members of Congress out of this. And this is one of the reasons. And Anime Sidekick Gal, thank you very much for the 20 gifted memberships. My God, thank you very much for helping the show. But this right here, this is the beginning of something special. This has been why I've talked so much about why it's important for Zohran Mamdani to focus on getting governance in New York City right. Not just because governance in New York City, reverberates out to other cities and other parts of the country, but because it can effectively become a beachhead. It is a position of power where socialists are well liked, and then they can help lift one another up. And that's how we saw Brad Lander and Zohran Mamdani forge their initial relationship during the mayoral election, where instead of just turning on each other and clawing for the throat, they actually helped one another up. And when it became clear Zohran was the front runner, Brad Lander helped him go on to win. It was a huge component of what makes this all work. And that was possible because of ranked choice voting. But also, what we're seeing now is Zohran Mamdani, in turn, not as most Democrats have done in recent years, burning the bridge, burning the boats, picking up the ladder, choose your imagery behind him, but instead helping other people ascend and climb and do well in other political arenas. And this is a huge, huge deal. And, I think it's okay for us to enjoy taking a W for once. This, so much is bad right now. So much is wrong right now in America, but this is the beginning of things being set right. And I did want to share with you guys this clip of Brad Lander finding out live on air in an interview that he had just won his primary.
Brad Lander, we came on the air just a couple of minutes ago as the numbers were still coming in your race. I'm going to do something a little unusual here, so I want you to bear with me. Not many candidates are on CNN when they hear this music. But we do have breaking news, and we can now project that Brad Lander will defeat the incumbent Congressman Dan Goldman in the Democratic primary for New York's 10th congressional district. And sir, obviously, since we have you here live on air as we are making this call, what is your first reaction to this?
Well, thank you. First of all, obviously, I'm thrilled. I did not expect to be on air when the race was called. Look, I love Election Day. I like the voters get to go out and cast their ballots and say, here's who we want to represent us. These are the fights that matter to us. And all I can say is I promise to go out every single day and fight for my constituents and the values that they have, because we need a country that stands up for working people. It doesn't make it so hard to live here. I'll be fighting for a city everyone can afford and where everyone is welcome. And I'm really honored to be on your show tonight.
Depending,
it's just he has such a great humility to him, and I love how he recenters it on the importance of our democratic system. What a classy move. it is very rare in America for so many different reasons to see an ascendant socialist movement. And it's so cool that we get to see that happen. Because I still remember taking my first steps into learning about what is socialism. You had to go seek out, you had to go read theory. You had to you had to go to meetings. You had to watch Richard Wolff lectures online. You had to do a fair amount of legwork because you would not see elected socialists in the vast majority of America. And it was only maybe 8 years ago, 10 years ago, that suddenly the Democratic electorate became a lot more interested in what socialism is. And it's really cool that the most popular politician on the left, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, is a socialist. She's endorsed by the DSA. Mamdani, one of the most popular political figures in America, and one of the few people to get more popular after elected, is a socialist. And you get people running off of these DSA endorsements and running off of these, and they're winning. This is unprecedented. We have not seen a movement like this come into being since since the last century, since Eugene Debs. It's really cool to see. Maybe we would have gotten it if Martin Luther King Jr. hadn't been assassinated. But we never fully saw the economic end of his dream. And so it's so cool to see this happen. And we are going to just kind of revel in the W for a minute. Let's take a look at Brad Lander's speech, because he gave a victory speech, and I haven't listened to it. I imagine it's worth listening to.
Everything that we can save is worth saving. Yeah. Expect more. Yeah. All right. And so now I'm going to turn it over to somebody who needs no introduction. Thank you so much, Mayor.
Good evening, everyone. What a good evening it is. Can we hear it for Brad's incredible family? For Meg. 1 year ago, I had the pleasure of standing as your Democratic nominee and of standing next to Brad Lander as that was announced. I've known Brad for some time, first as a colleague, as a friend, and over the course of that race and beyond, as a partner in this work. And I knew then what we all know now, and what many of you all have known for years. Brad brings a kindness to this work. He brings a sincerity to this work. He brings a vision of politics that is more than what we've seen for so long. And when we think about what our country needs, as Meg said, we need an understanding of what Mr. Rogers would talk about all those decades ago. We need a good neighbor. We need someone who will always have our back. And I'm so proud to stand here to describe a friend of mine in the language I've used with hope, and now simply to say it as fact. Please join me in introducing your next Congress member, Brad Lander.
Hell yeah, Brad's going to Congress! Let's go!
Come on. Get up here, buddy.
All right, give it up one more time for the mayor of New York City!
I do want to say I wish I could play his initial ad, because it's so charming. He's got the Mr. Rogers theme playing. It's so good. But It will get DMCA'd, and I know that because it got DMCA'd last time, and I just don't want to put up. I don't want to deal with that right now.
Zohran Mamdani! It was an honor 1 year ago to work together to elect him the mayor of New York City. And it's been thrilling as he has been showing us what it looks like to fight for a New York City everyone can afford. For a place everyone is welcome. And for a city where we don't compromise on anyone's humanity. Thank you, Zohran.
It is also an element of promises made, promises kept, you know, like I remember watching Zohran's victory speech, and there was a huge contingent of Brad Lander supporters there, and you can hear them in the background of the speech chanting Brad, 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 Brad. Yeah, I think that chant actually made it into the Jazz Dog song that we play every so often here. It's great. It's great. And now it has come full circle. The loop has been closed.
Thank you. Thank you. What a glorious time to be a New Yorker. These past few weeks, there has been a powerful energy moving through our city. A generosity of spirit, a refusal to give up even against very long odds, and a feeling of joy out in the streets shared by every kind of New Yorker there is. Give it up for the New York Knicks, all right? And for the mayor who brought the first championship to New York City in 53 years.
Let's go!
Our win tonight, it belongs to those streets as well, to the people who organize there, to the people who never give up on their neighbors. It was my name on the ballot today, but tonight's victory belongs to all of you. The people here, we've been organizing together for 30 years.
Like, this is what I mean, right? Like, Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs.
It's wild that Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which aired on the public broadcasting system, is copyright protected.
It's true. It's also very difficult, though not impossible, to track down all of the episodes of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. A lot of episodes that, for whatever reason, people get really litigious about. Thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. I do want to say it is just so cool that Brad Lander is the product of what you can do when you organize. Like, New York City, in particular, has been a stellar example of what you can do when you actually get involved in your local politics. Right? Like, showing up to meetings, working with your neighbors, pushing for agendas that actually help working class people, help the people who live in the area. You can do so much. You can find and build up your own Brad Lander, your own Zohran Mamdani in every corner of this country. You can do it. It's not impossible. Brad Lander is a perfect example of what is possible in America.
We've stopped the evictions of seniors and families. Yeah. We won the Prospect Park West bike lane. We brought participatory budgeting to New York City. We desegregated our middle schools.
I mean, like, these are huge wins, right? Because when he talks about desegregating the middle schools, they weren't segregated, like, by, like, they were segregated intentionally, but they were segregated on the basis of, like, income, on the basis of location, which of course carries with it the weight of racial segregation. And that carried over into how the school system in New York, like, had students in which schools. And it took intervention to officially end segregation in New York City, right? Because the legacies of redlining, the legacies of different mistreatment and different, marginalizations of people of color, that was perpetuated. And it took an actual organized effort in the community to end it. Like, it's really cool. It's really important. I just, one thing, I'm getting a little emotional. In Minnesota, this is I'm from Minnesota, but in Minnesota, there was this guy, Paul Wellstone, right? Who was a progressive, leftist, maybe not an out and out socialist, of course, but he was considered maybe one of the most popular and farthest left political politicians in recent Minnesota history. And he died in a plane crash. But what gave him his power was effectively organizing in rural communities around electricity, around the utilities, and he was enormously effective. But when he died, like a lot of that energy just vanished. There was no longer an effective vehicle for it. And what I'm really happy to see here is the proliferation of the same kind of ideological spirit, that same kind of fight that Zohran Mamdani brought, right? And it means that it's growing, and it's bigger than any one person. And I find that in particular extremely exciting. Because for a long time, even, if you look back like 4 years ago, who did you have to look to as a socialist here in America on the national stage? You had Bernie Sanders, maybe a few babby members of Congress, but it was mostly Bernie Sanders holding that torch and keeping it alive for many, many years. There's a part of me where I'm like, oh, this is catching fire. This is spreading. This is more real than any one person. And I think that is really magical and cool. And important.
We rezoned Gowanus. We won justice for fast food workers and deliveristas and Uber drivers and freelancers. And we are standing up to ICE in our neighborhoods and in our immigration courts. I will be back at 26 Federal Plaza tomorrow morning.
Hell yeah.
I wish I could thank every single...
This is what I mean. Like, goddamn, he's a real one. Right back out to protesting ICE tomorrow. Let's go.
One of you here by name, but I'm going to have to do a few stand-ins of gratitude. So thank you one more time to our mayor, Zohran Mamdani. I want to say thank you to our public advocate, Jumaane Williams. To Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, and to a fantastic set of elected officials, including Assemblymember Bobby Carroll, and a lot of others who are in the room who I am going to say thank you to a little later. I want to say thank you to the Working Families Party, that's been my political home for 25 years, and it will be in Congress.
Let's go.
And this incredible network of organizations. I'm going to do it quickly, but...
Yeah, I gotta say, Working Families Party has been doing really good work, too. Like, they've also been real ones alongside the DSA. Huge prop. Love whenever I hear the Working Families Party dropped. I have yet to encounter a candidate endorsed by the Working Families Party that wasn't great. DSA can sometimes be a little bit missed depending on, which part of DSA is endorsing whom. But Working Families Party really does have their shit together seemingly every time.
Jews for Racial and Economic Justice, Indivisible, Brooklyn Resistors, Move On, Stonewall, Lambda, 504 Dems, unions including NISNA, CWA, 32BJ, Workers United, Local 100, a campaign team for the ages led by Luke Hayes.
Families be working, y'all. Families be working.
Families do be working, Jobert. Thank you for the Prime sub.
Thank you, Emmett, Katie, Emily, Lauren, Harry, Luke, Connor, Neil, Emma, Dana, Ria, Cal, Grace, Penelope, Allison, and to the great teams from Fight, Deliver, Global Strategies, Melted Solids, and everybody else who worked so friggin' hard on this race.
I do want to say, Brad does have the energy where I think if you give him some time to cook in Congress, give him some time to like earn his bona fides, I do think he could, in like 18 years or so, make a really strong bid for the presidency. I do think he could do it.
South of Canal Street, families do be woking.
They be woking?
An extraordinary thank you to my just truly incredible family. To my mom and dad, Carol and David, from whom I learned most of what I know about care and about listening. To my incredible kids, Rosa and Marek, who really, you guys inspire me every
Hell yeah, that's a local New York joke, two dads smooching.
single day, and hold me accountable pretty well, too. And to the most extraordinary person in my life, Meg. I am so lucky to be married to you.
Yes, you are.
To be married to you. You see how she holds me accountable right up here in public. You better believe it looks like that in our house as well. It is a house full of love and an expectation that you live up to the responsibilities and values that go with it. So thank you. I also want to say thank you to Dan Goldman I want to say thank you to Dan Goldman for a hard-fought campaign and for his service to this community and to our country.
Bye, bitch!
I intend, as I committed during the campaign, to keep the triage center that he has set up in his office at 290 Broadway that has gotten over 40 detained immigrants released.
That's actually, that's such a classy move. Honestly, this should become, one of the go-to moves for political campaigns. Make the seat of your campaign like a local community hotspot that can provide assistance to people in the local area. Follow that Kat Abu Ghazaleh, template. I think it's a really smart idea, and then such a classy move for whoever wins in the primary to then just keep it open and keep that aid flowing. He won over Goldman? Yeah,
Huge
it was a
fan of the
bloodbath.
show. Keep up the good work always.
Thank you, Sun Entry. Appreciate you. And thank you for the $5 super chat. Yeah, just classy move and also helps the community. I love it.
And I will work to build on the fierce questions that he asks Kristi Noem and works hard to hold everyone accountable. I will build on that spirit. And I want to specifically praise him for how he responded to some of the toxic rhetoric that he and his staff faced over the past couple of days with grace and with gratitude. That is something we need more of in our politics. And I want to say to those who cast their votes for Dan, though we have some differences, I believe strongly that we actually have so much more in common.
This is actually such a classy victory speech. It's crazy.
I know that you want to rescue our country back from Trumpism and renew our democracy. And I know you want to find a better, more humane path for us on the world stage. I will always endeavor to listen to you thoughtfully and to represent you and everyone else in this incredible district with great care. I have a few things I want to say, and I don't get a platform that often quite like this. So I am going to ask, in the spirit of solidarity, for you to indulge me a little bit. I know not everyone in the back can really hear. Maybe we'll give you a printed copy of the remarks a little later. But I'm going to ask. I got a few things I want to say tonight. So I'm going to ask for your solidarity to help me do it. Last Thursday, I gave a name to that spirit that has been moving in New York City. I said it was solidarity. I said it was the force we need to vanquish our biggest foes. And I don't mean Wemby and the Spurs. Solidarity is the force that we need to vanquish Trump's fascism, to abolish ICE,
Hell
And
yeah.
to stand up to the billionaires who are rigging our economy against us.
You know, genuinely, it's such a big deal to get this new blood coming into Congress, willing to say that Donald Trump is a fascist, willing to say abolish ICE, willing to actually do things that are politically a bit risky. You know, when you take a big swing at something like abolishing ICE, that's a big deal. But we need politicians that are willing to take those big swings, because it's going to take a lot of big swings to get us back on track after this fascist administration is long gone. You know?
This campaign here was born out of solidarity. Now, solidarity is not the same as unity. Unity means we already agree. Solidarity means we do the work to build bridges even across significant differences. That's what we did last year when we joined together to defeat Andrew Cuomo and elect Zohran
Hell yeah.
as the mayor of New York City. All right, I'm going to also add one thank you that I thought I had in a great list of unions before, but we could not have won this race without the United Auto Workers region, a fierce and fighting union who shows an awful lot of solidarity and was there last year when we defeated Andrew Cuomo and elected Zohran Mamdani as mayor. We proved then politics doesn't have to be a cage match. Politics can be a team sport in pursuit of the values we share.
Which I think that's true when it comes to, you know, you're this is the right speech and the right tone to set when you're winning a primary. If you were going into the general election against a substantial opponent, you might need to throw some punches, because when it comes to fighting a fascist, you need to go for the jugular, and you need to be willing to street fight, you know, over your politics. And like, I mean that like in the political sense, of course, not literal street fighting. Hopefully it does not come to that. But I think Brad is nailing the tone that you need when you're talking about, you know, people who largely agree within the Democratic Party. Because keep in mind, even centrist voters right now are so angry. They were out there saying things that I would never be allowed to say on this live stream because my show would be taken down in a heartbeat. All right. You've got you know, Ethel Normie Lib out there, you know, talking about the French Revolution shit. And I'm over here being like, whoa, chill out a little bit, Ethel. All right. But this is the kind of language you need to bring in the Ethel Normie Libs or Evelyn Normie Libs and meld them with DSA and more progressive leftist voters. And that kind of an alliance only benefits people on the left. Bringing in those voters is vitally important because the goal is to move those voters further left. And when you open the door for them in this way, like Brad is doing here, it actually helps make more leftists happen.
We ran this campaign also like a team sport because you need a team when you're up against bullies and billionaires. And that's what I intend to do in Congress. Our team of progressive champions is growing tonight. It's been growing in recent months, beginning with that election of Ana Lilia Mejia in New Jersey and continuing to tonight. Congratulations to Claire Valdez on her victory. And I believe it will continue to grow in the months ahead. Now, when you're insurgents, you spend a lot of time criticizing. That's just the nature of a primary. But coming out of a primary, our job is to do two things. And they're slightly different from Meg's two things. Our job is to do two.
You people can't even reason. You go straight to violence. Man, y'all can't even look at a contest in the political arena and think of, oh, hey, somebody might be using colorful language to describe political contests. You do know that when people talk about a political arena, they're not talking about a physical arena where people go fight each other. Come on. Think, chat, think!
Things to take the lessons that the voters taught us and also to build unity within the Democratic Party to win the majority back this fall.
Why can't California be like this? It can. This is why every single episode that I do, every single thing I put out on YouTube, I tell people to get involved with your local party, because you can make everywhere like this, and places like California are primed to become this. Like, we should be getting more involved. And if you want to, you can join our Discord, !Discord in any of the chats. There's also a link down in the description. And you can join our Discord, reach out to Dragonfly to help get onboarded into your local Democratic Party, and she'll even give you tips and tricks on how to be effective at moving people left on the local level, because she's done it for years. Similarly, you can reach out to Gamergy in our Discord for advice on how to join your local DSA and how to maneuver within that group to make it a more effective organization. We want to give you the tools to do that, and it's why I talk about it literally all the time. We can make everywhere this cool.
When I launched this race, I said it wasn't progressives versus moderates. I said it's fighters versus folders. Yeah. So, as we head into November, I'm going to give you 4 lessons that I believe are worth fighting for. All right. First, we have to fight hard and visibly against a system the American people have already concluded is rigged. And the clearest evidence of that rigging is corporate money in our elections.
Yep.
Democratic voters with these votes tonight are sending a strong message. It is time for the Democratic Party to walk away from corporate PAC money.
Hell yeah. And Citizens United, baby.
Away from PACs funded by Wall Street and crypto and AI and APAC. People can see through this. They've been seeing through it for a long time already. We can only stand.
Okay, Shadow Kuro, glad you're enjoying my stream for the first time. Now, I did jokingly suggest the other day that politics should involve, political debates should involve each candidate being able to just full force punch the other candidate. And then other people pointed out that it would only be fair if they all did it at the same time. So I do think that there is, I think it would be very funny if that was a component of our political system. After all of the rhetoric, you get one punch, you get one freebie. I don't actually think we should do that, just to be clear for anyone who can't take a joke, but it would be very funny.
Up and fight the corruption of Trump and his cronies if we make the line just as sharp and clear as it actually is. Second, we have to focus relentlessly on delivering for working families on the things that matter most in their lives.
Hell yeah.
Housing and healthcare and childcare and a job that pays enough to live a decent life in this expensive city. Heading into this fall, Democrats have to show people clearly what we're fighting for, not just what we're fighting against. That was such an important part of Zohran's campaign and has been an important part of his first 6 months in office. So here's a proposal for Democratic unity. One of the best things that Democrats did last year was to turn the government shutdown into a fight over healthcare subsidies. Let's do that again, but this time let's hold strong all the way to the end.
Let's do it! Brad, let's go! Brad coming out here. Like, the best part about Brad Lander is he's like maybe one of the most mild-mannered seeming men on the planet. Like, just the chillest dude you could possibly know. But then he's out there being like, yeah, and I think we should shut the entire government down until, we get healthcare back. And he just says it matter of fact, like it's the most obvious thing in the world. When there are Democrats who've been in office for like 30 years, 40 years, who are terrified to say even remotely the same thing. He says it like it's nothing. It's like watching Arthur Pendragon draw the sword from the stone like it ain't no thing.
Be clear together that Democrats will only vote for a budget that restores healthcare subsidies on the exchanges and to Medicare and to Medicaid, and let people know this is the party that fights for the things that matter for you. Third, we cannot compromise on anyone's humanity. This one should be straightforward, but alas, it sure doesn't feel that way right now. Democrats are painfully divided by our differences over the U.S. relationship to Israel and Palestine.
Compliment.
He does. He has big Kermit energy. And that is a big compliment. Brad Lander would be right at home as a character on Sesame Street. 1000%. 1000%. He's a goddamn Sesame Street character. All right.
And we have to face up to it squarely. Yeah. Our party needs to admit that Joe Biden's Hug Bibi strategy was a catastrophic failure.
Hell yeah.
I believe it made us complicit in genocide. Bombs we paid for killed over 70,000 Palestinians, mostly women and children. Tanks we sent made over 1 million people homeless. Humanitarian aid is still not getting in.
Like, this should not be a difficult thing for elected Democrats to say, and yet it still seems like they're treating it like political poison. Getting Brad in there to at least say what the reality is a huge, huge accomplishment.
Cannot keep paying for Netanyahu's wars with our tax dollars. Democratic voters across the country are saying this loud and clear. Yes. What we need instead is a politics of shared safety. Yes. One that sees Palestinian kids in Gaza and the West Bank as created B'Tselem Elohim in the image of God just as much as Rosa and Marek. One that understands that Israelis will only be truly safe when Palestinians are free.
Hell yeah.
Now, that politics of shared safety must, of course, include Jews in the United States and in Israel as well. American Jews have been on the front lines of civil rights struggles for generations as New Yorkers, as Americans, as Democrats, as progressives, as socialists. Let's keep it that way. You can criticize Israel and not be anti-Semitic. You can be an anti-Zionist and not be anti-Semitic.
Hell yeah.
Many Jews are, and many non-Jews also.
God, this guy is basically the kryptonite for every single thing that conservatives have been trying to slander Zohran Mamdani for. Like, the latest attack on Mamdani is that he called people who are pro-Zionism monsters, and like the ADL has been going after Zohran Mamdani, like 85% of US Jews are monsters? How dare you, sir? And it's just like,
it means so much for Brad Lander, as a Jewish man, to be constantly being the one willing to say, we're complicit in a genocide and we must stop, cause it breaks anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism.
Absolutely. It is so important for him to be saying this stuff. Because the entirety of the defense of the war crimes of Israel in the United States has been, well, you can't criticize them because when you criticize them, that makes you an anti-Semite. And I'm sorry, there is no world in which criticizing the committing of war crimes makes one bigoted against any group. Like, no war crimes are acceptable. Like, people should not be given a rhetorical pass to commit war crimes and ethnic cleansings on the basis of their ethnicity or the basis of their religion. Like, it's insane to me that has become a weird standard among the Democratic Party. And people like Brad Lander and Zohran Mamdani are in the process of undoing that. And I think that is vital, important work.
Now, too often, though, people have started using Zionist as a slur for Jews. You could just check my mentions if you don't believe me. And anti-Semitism, it rises with fascism and with war. and we're amidst both right now. Progressives need to be people who are standing against this, not looking away from it. There is so much trauma here, so much grief, so much fear, and we hold on to it so tightly, and nobody acts well from a place of fear. It does not bring out our...
Yeah, I think Brad is a great candidate to basically show you can be anti-Zionist and also, like, Jewish and pro-Jewish people. Like, I think this is something that he does a really good job of exemplifying in his race.
It rises with fascism and with war, and we're amidst both right now. Progressives need to be people who are standing against this, not looking away from it. There is so much trauma here, so much grief, so much fear, and we hold on to it so tightly, and nobody acts well from a place of fear. It does not bring out our best selves. But we have an opportunity in this moment, a responsibility to insist on everyone's humanity all the way down.
Hell yeah.
Last week at a synagogue in Brooklyn, I met 3 Israelis who do something called protective presence in the West Bank. They put their bodies on the line between their Palestinian neighbors and settlers who are trying to drive them from their homes, and in some cases, kill them. Now, the Palestinians they work alongside, they couldn't come to Brooklyn because they can't get a visa. But you know what? They do this work together anyway because they know their fates are bound up together. In Congress, I will try to carry a fraction of the courage that those folks carry. I will be one of the Jewish members of Congress most willing to stand up loud for Palestinian human rights, freedom, and dignity.
Hell yeah!
And I will stand firmly against bigotry aimed at Jews as well. That's not 2 different jobs, that's the same job. And of course, that's the job that Rabbi Hillel gave us 2,000 years ago. Im ein ani li mili, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? Uksha'ani la'atzmi ma'ani, but if I am for myself only, what am I? V'im lo achshav ematai, and if not now, when?
God, I
I'll put
love
this
him.
another way, and that brings me to my 4th and final lesson. Bimakom she'en anashim lehishtareh lehiot ish. In a place where no one is acting like a human being, try to be a human being. Because that is exactly the moment that we're living in right now. On one side, our empathy is being hacked by a fascism that needs someone to blame. Immigrants, trans kids, women. For problems it has no intention of solving. And on the other side, algorithmic social media and AI are coming for something quieter, but just as real, our attention, our judgment, our capacity to sit with each other's complexities instead of optimizing it all away. So here's the 4th idea I think Democrats should run with this fall. Not just a platform.
I do have to say, I do take pleasure in knowing that tomorrow, everyone that works at the Daily Wire is going to be furiously recording enraged pieces and screeds against the socialists who've been elected in New York. And it's gonna be funny. Like, they're just so upset about this mild-mannered man getting elected whose main position is, golly gee, what if we treated each other like neighbors? What if we actually put some funds together and made sure our neighbors were housed and made sure there was food on their tables? And made sure people could get health care? Golly gee, wouldn't that be a swell society? Anyway, I'm going to get on my tandem bicycle now with my good friend Zohran Mamdani, and we're going to go on a lovely little bicycle ride and have a picnic in the park. Bye! And, like, Meanwhile, Ben Shapiro's just like, I can't believe this guy. He's gonna turn it into some kind of socialist hellscape. The red apple, more like the moldy apple. Got him.
Did he just say Democrats? That's truly, 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 truly outrageous.
Well, I would give you props for that Tarek reference, but then I'd have to admit the truth, which is that Mordekaiser es numero uno. Wait.
But a spirit. Let's call it a new humanism. One built for this moment.
A new humanism, you say? Like a socialism?
When the loudest forces in our politics and our technology both seem to have an interest in making us less human rather than more human. A new humanism doesn't ask what's efficient, it asks what's worthy of us. A new humanism says dignity isn't a value you balance against other values, it's the floor everything else stands on. It says joy is not a luxury for having after the fight is won.
Wait, Jack didn't watch Gem and the Holograms? What face?
Wait, did Gem? I didn't watch Gem and the Holograms. I know the truly, truly, truly outrageous line as a voice line from Tarek from League of Legends. I didn't know it was a reference to Gem and the Holograms. That's my own personal failing that I'll never live down.
Joy is part of how we win it. And boy, you saw and you felt and you lived that out on the streets of this city over the last couple of weeks. And don't let anyone tell you it doesn't matter. It matters. And that new humanism says purpose comes not from being right by yourself. It comes from being bound up with other people, all other people, including ones that an algorithm or an administration tells you you can ignore.
You mean like, the kind of new humanism that says people should have agency within their workplace? The kind of new humanism that says, people should, the workers should own the value that they produce? The kind of new humanism that says, hey, democracy is good enough for your country, it should be good enough for your workplace too. I could get behind this new humanism idea.
Pope Leo, in his recent encyclical on AI, made a version of this same case. And you don't have to share his faith to recognize the instinct that there is something in us. Call it soul, call it dignity, call it whatever you want, that neither a fascist nor an AI can take away from us.
Hell yeah.
That is the spirit that has been moving through New York City over the past few weeks. That is the spirit we've been fighting together for the past 30 years. That's the spirit we built this campaign on. And that is the spirit that I will carry into the United States Congress.
Let's go!
Thank you all very much. You've been incredible. Let's have a party.
God, I love his energy is just so good, and here he is partying. They're just charming. I like it. And also, I did try and see if they had victory speeches up. I could not find them at the moment. But worth also saying that Daria Liza Avila Chevalier has also clinched the victory, winning by... How much was the final difference here? Last I saw, it was by like 5 percentage points or so, which is pretty great. We watched her debate just the other day, and it was straight fire. Like, she is one of the most whip smart and quickest and most composed politicians I've seen in quite some time. She was great. It was like watching a once in a lifetime debate performance, you know? And not only that, we also got Claire Valdez elected as well. And guys, everything's coming up the Mamdani sweep. What can I say? Look at us here. We're thriving. We're eating good. And all I have to say is that as we get through this, check this out here, all right? This is the DSA election night party. Like, DSA is fucking killing it. Also, the DJ at that party you just saw, Chelsea Manning. Because, hell yeah, of course. And last but not least, I do want to remind you guys of this particular Axios article as we add potentially 3 new members to Congress, specifically the House of Representatives. Jeffries faces growing threat of 2027 rebellion. And this was from March. Like, if anything, Hakeem Jeffries is in for a very rough 2027 and potentially an even rougher 2028. It's some good stuff here. Hakeem Jeffries, for a very long time, seems to have been treated as if he's like impervious to any kind of political pressure.
Party surrogate strategy works. This is how we win.
Absolutely. Like, I think that he genuinely is gonna have to fight to like remain majority leader if he makes it that far. And like, I don't know, I'm excited to see him squirm a bit, because especially with New York increasingly going towards the Zohran Mamdani end of things, his own position in power is kind of dependent on the Chuck Schumer wing of the party. And the second that no longer is the case, like the second that Chuck Schumer wing buckles and breaks, he's gonna have very little wiggle room to reposition himself as a, lefty progressive candidate. So I'm excited to see how that all goes down. Anything that makes the establishment quiver in their boots, I think, is a net win for us. So, all that being said, folks, we finally made it through multiple tech issues and all. We did it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this massive Mamdani sweep. And in the comments, of course. And also, join your local Dems, join your local DSA. Join our Discord, reach out to Dragonfly for help with your local Dems, reach out to GamerG for help with your local DSA. We just need people to show up. Showing up, organizing, that is the majority of the work, all right? You can do it. I believe in you guys.
If we can defeat Yorm the Giant, we can knock Hakeem Jeffries off his throne of cowardice.
That's true. Love the Dark Souls 3 reference. Let's go. And also, check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is comfortable, sexy lingerie that's non-tucking. Check it out, ImogeneOlivia.com. Link down in the description. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is going to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, dating, plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.